When I grow up, I'll come back for all of you. I'll take you someplace safe. I'll take you where you'll have abundance, no more lack. It was our dream. It was a cry for human basics, just the basics of life. Clothing, accommodation, shelter over your head. We didn't have that. There are moments with good days without food in that place. And so that became the cry of my heart. My name is Petra Otee Mangesho, as you've said, Executive Director of Petra Kids Ministries. My story is a long one. Grew up in Northern Uganda, was born and raised. My dad was a reverend ordained in the Church of Uganda. My mother is a stay-home mother, a stay-home wife. She wasn't really educated, so she was a mother to us. But my parents served so well in the community. My dad, community leader, and very vocal about injustices, and always spoke about why we should do right by each other, what the Bible has to say. My dad got killed. That left us orphans, like I said, each of us fending for ourselves. I was pretty young. Some parts I do remember very vividly, and some parts I just have few recollections here and there of things that happened. I was taken into homes. Typical of, I remember one of the things I remember very vividly was on the day of the funeral, the burial, where all the 6 kids were made to stand in front of a crowd, and whoever was available to take one of us would stand up and say, I'll take her, I'll take him. And so I remember being picked by one family. I didn't stay long with that family, and I was put into more like a boarding school, but an orphanage. It was only orphans in that place. And that's where I think the Lord started developing the call inside of me that is Petra Kids today. At that orphanage with the kids that looked so much like me, that felt like me. What did I feel? Abandonment, neglect, rejection, pain, hopelessness, brokenness, everything that. And they were all just like me. And now I can say I felt the Lord calling me. At the time, I didn't know it was a call. I didn't know it was an assignment. I thought I was just playing a game. PKM started with me responding to that call. I didn't know how, but once I got a job as an intern, I'm still a student, I'm just interning, go to school, come back in the evening. Go to work, go to school in the evening. And my little money that I was saving, I started sponsoring children in my village. I started with 5. And then one day I'm walking the streets of Kampala. I see 3 children who are starving. They're so hungry. And it was raining, and you get used to those kind of sight. You look the other way because you also need something. It's like you don't have a lot to share. But this moment, I couldn't look the other way. And these kids were literally calling at me and crying, take us home, take us home. And I'm thinking, I don't even have a home to take you to. So I took them to the police and said, can you guys find relatives for these kids or somebody to help them? I cannot. They told me, if you can't take care of them, take them back where you found them. Basically, take them back to the street. We don't have a way to help them. If you feel compelled to do something, here's the letter that gives you right to take care of them. So basically, ended up legally with some 3 kids in my hands, and I'm a student. So I took them to my village, added them to the other 5, and now that made 8. That was the birth of Petra Kids Ministries. So they kept growing in number. Before I knew, we had 25 of them, and no classroom, no nothing. But we would sit them under the trees and teach them songs and do all that we could, and people started volunteering. And then later I learned that my dad had actually left in his will that one of his lands, basically where we grew up, was to be used for ministry. So my family gave me a bare land and said, here's the land, use it for whatever. Initially we were thinking of a church, but they say, no, this is perfect. Put a school there, do whatever you want. And so our school started under the tree with the 25 kids. Thinking 25, I can barely help them. So, but that's little. How about the whole village? How about the whole region? All these people, probably there's somebody there who is going to stand in and help, like the people who helped me. Because one thing I didn't share is when my parents died, people came for me. They became what I'm trying to become for the kids today. Somebody stood in for me. I passed through so many hands, but each hand that I passed through, each season was a blessing. It blessed me from different dimensions, and it taught me what I know today. So yes, PKM started with those 25, and now we have four campuses. We started with the little ones. Of course, that's the Early Child Development Center, which has about 130 kids each year going through it, and then we pass them over to the primary school. That's about 430 students every year. Now we have the secondary, which is high school. That's also about 400 plus students. After the secondary school, we take them into higher institutions. We partner with different government institutions, and then we also have our own ICT centers for those who want to learn different skills, software engineering, coding, and stuff like that. We've also ventured into farming as a way of sustainability. We're not just training them to pass tests. It's not just about passing exams, but really training them to become self-sufficient, training them to become independent, because that's what I lacked. I lacked the independence. I lacked the self-sufficiency when you don't have a home to call home. We want them to know that their past does not define their present, neither does it define their future. And so we're instilling that in them. They can dream bigger. Yeah.
I began to learn about the Petra Kids Ministry. I met Petra. I was inspired by her story and her life, and it's become part of my life now. I think we all look for something we can do for others, and there are lots of opportunities, and there are lots of places to do that. I just find Petra Kids Ministries is one of them. And I could say my life has changed. I could say it is worthwhile to express through help and money and time to share that love, right? The love that has been around me and my family, to try to extend that. I'm a very fortunate person, I'll say that.
One of the stories I would like to tell us is that of Samuel Atiam, and how he came into the program was we had traveled with a team from the US, some of my friends, and so as it is customary there, kids love to entertain guests with songs and dancing, and so Samuel seemed a little out of place. He's a little older, but he's standing there and he's watching the kids, and he looks so dirty, and like as in his clothes are all torn. Time came for us to tour the classrooms as guests. In one of the classrooms, we sat in it, was an algebra class, and as the teacher is writing on the chalkboard, we noticed a kid standing by the window on the outside, and he's looking in, and he's whispering the answers before the teacher writes anything up. He already is ahead of him. So he walked in, and the other kids were giggling, and I said, don't do that. So I asked him, do you know the solution to the problem that the teacher is trying to solve? He said, yeah, even more. So I encouraged the teacher, give him a chalk, let him teach the class, and we were all blown away. Very, very smart, but he had already dropped out in 6th grade, couldn't go any further because his dad couldn't pay him, and his mom, mental illness, dad is legally blind, and the other kids. And so one of my colleagues decided to sponsor him.
So I picked up Samuel, and I believe he was about 10 years old. And he had a beautiful story of looking into the school, wanting so bad to be part of it, but there was no funds for Samuel. So my husband and I decided that we would sponsor 2 children that year and carry them all the way through. through this, I learned that Samuel was an incredibly smart little boy. He loved being at school. Been doing it, I think, over 10 years. He's 20 now. He's graduated. And then he went on to, the decision was college or tech school. He chose tech school because he was obviously technically smart, and he would be able to give back to his parents. And he has a very poor family, and they needed those funds. If he'd gone to college, he wouldn't have been able to do that. And now he's giving back to Petra Kids Ministry. So it's a cycle that you hope happens, that you pick them up, they become educated, and then they give back, whether it's to Petra Kids or to their environment, their society.
He's one of our very good trainers. He's super smart. He's giving back. He has built a home for his parents. The first time we visited that home, we all shed tears. There was nothing. No home. The kids were starving. Now he can provide for his family. He can provide for his sisters, for his siblings. And that's what PKM gave him. That's what the sponsorship gave him. So I want to use this opportunity to invite anyone watching this video. Number one, share it, because we want to reach as many people as possible with this story. This story is not about Petra. This story, when you hear it, the last thing I want you to see is a face of a child who is smiling, who is happy, who is testifying and saying, yes, somebody did it for me. Mary came for me. Jane came for me. Steve came for me. And I am who I am today because they stepped in and fill that gap as a sponsor. So first, I want to open the door for child sponsorship, student sponsorship. Like I said, we don't put so much emphasis on the dollar amount because we know that the impact is way beyond the dollar. But just very little does so much in Uganda. So I want to invite you to partner with us. The Lord places in your heart, you want to partner with us in different projects. We always have different projects, different campaigns running on our website. And we don't leave God on the side, no. He's at the center of it all. Yes, so come partner with us. Come on missions. We love people to visit. You go there, your life changes forever. So we're open. Come with me. Let's go to Uganda. That's another way to partner with us. Pray. Become a prayer partner. And we have the forms on the website that you can just send us a note and say, and then volunteer. We have events, we have fundraising, we're always looking for board members. If you feel led, just reach out to us, and there's always a place for you.